What it is, RT peoples, I am back with a brand new video, and in today's video I'm going to be going over why Jack is stronger than what most people think. Now, for a side note, this isn't an origin story video or a plot analysis video. If you have no idea who Jack is from the Jak and Daxter series, I would highly recommend that you either play the games or you go on YouTube and watch a couple other videos to better understand the character that I'm talking about. With all that being said, I'm going to be going over data book feats, and I'm going to be scaling to determine Jack's level of power. Now, before I do that, I guess I'll jump right into it. The creators of Jak and Daxter, along with 40 other people, were involved in the story of Jak and Daxter, which not only created inconsistencies for the plot, but also created inconsistencies in terms of Jack's power. And another point to bring up about this is that if Jack was truly as powerful as I analyze him to be, then the game really wouldn't be that much fun. Certain missions would be pointless and irrelevant. Jack needs to be nerfed throughout the games so you can actually enjoy the games. Now I would like to bring up the data books and mention the fact that The Lost Frontier is canon and will be talked about in this video, because in the data book of The Lost Frontier it references Jak 1, 2, and 3, and the head developer of High Impact Games outright stated that they worked collaboratively with Naughty Dog Studio. They gave them permission to create this game. So all the arguments of people saying that The Lost Frontier isn't canon, I just don't understand that, man. It's clearly canon. It's in the data books, and the creators of Jak and Daxter worked collaboratively with High Impact Games to make this game happen. I understand some people don't like the game, but doesn't matter. Now, Katsuji Mori made 2 Japanese official guides for the Jak and Daxter series for both Jak 1 and Jak 2, but it stopped there. But I'm glad that these data books came out, because we now have confirmation on the map sizes throughout the Jak verse. Some of these places in the Jak universe, such as Sandover Village or Rock Village, appear much smaller than what they actually are. We get the exact square mileage for all of these different places, so I'm going to be using that in some of the calculations and scaling. And as for the eco Jak utilizes, we have confirmation of actual multipliers. Blue eco increases Jak's speed by 5 times, red eco increases Jak's strength by 20 times. Yellow eco hits with the force of a meteor, which could be around 25,000 to 160,000 miles per hour. And green eco allows him to replenish his health, and he can gather green eco from the planet itself, most likely from lively areas, such as like grassy meadows and stuff. So with all that being said, let's just jump right into this. So base Jak in part 1, his strength is easily building level plus. He was able to kill the Dark Eco Plant monster with 3 hits. In the data book and in the game, it confirms that the Dark Eco Plant monster is town level, and Jak was able to kill it with 3 punches by hitting a weak spot under its chin pedal. This will be a building plus level feat. He also has another building plus level feat at the end of the game, where he was able to carry this massive precursor artifact all the way from Gaul and Maya Citadel back to Samos' hut. Jak's strength would be multi-building level with the 20 times multiplier of red eco. In terms of speed, he was able to dodge Claw's attacks at point blank range. Now Claw can shoot out 30-ton boulders that bombard the entirety of Rock Village, which has a square area of around 88 square miles. And it can reach the farthest edges of this village in about 10 seconds. Doing the conversions, we get over 180,000 miles an hour, so it's relativistic to lightning. Jak was able to fight him at point blank range and dodge these attacks, so his base form without blue eco, which increases his speed by 5, should be a lightning timer. So with blue eco, he'd be 5 times faster than lightning. He also dodges yellow eco blasts from the precursor robot, which can shoot out yellow eco blasts that are capable of traveling 178 square miles in the span of 3 seconds, which would also be relativistic to lightning, moving at 213,000 miles per hour. Some people might want to argue about aim dodging, but the thing is with Jak is combating these foes on a small platform, and they're locked on to him. No matter where he moves, they have their sights aimed directly at him. So aim dodging isn't an argument, and even if it was, he'd still be relativistic to lightning, and with blue eco he'd be much faster than lightning. So Jak in his base is lightning level, And with the 5 times multiplier, he'd be 5 times faster than lightning. When it comes to Jack's skill set, he has a very basic fighting style. Forward punches, uppercuts, spinning back kicks, double jumps, super jumps, downward headbutts. His Blue Eco ability not only allows him to become faster, but it also is a magnetic type ability where he's able to essentially manipulate all kinds of metallic material that's around the vicinity to be able to create large bridges and other large obstacles. We've seen this in the Forbidden Jungle, and we've seen this in the battle against Claw. Yellow Eco Blasts also home into their targets. They follow their targets slightly. He has town level durability for sure. The plant monster was town level, and he can tank hits from the plant monster. Claw should scale past the plant monster because of the simple fact he's equipped with a precursor artifact, so he should scale past the Dark Eco plant monster. And finally, his durability, he's able to tank attacks from the Yellow Eco Blast produced by the precursor robot. Now, the precursor robot in size towers over the silo, which towers over mountains by 2 to 3 times according to the map of Jak and Daxter. So this is anywhere from mountain level plus to multi-mountain level of durability. When it comes to his AP, the only thing he's really shown was firing off Yellow Eco Blasts that can obliterate 30-ton boulders in Boggy Swamp. To obliterate these and to complete Ash, he would have to be dishing out the AP equivalent to an AC-130 firing off a Sharpener shell, which has the destructive yield of around 72 tons of TNT. Now, the thing is, it travels as fast as a meteor, which is unironically dozens, if not hundreds of times faster than what an AC-130 can dish out. So it could be much higher, well over 200 tons of TNT. And on top of that, to push his AP even higher, a barrage of these can make Claw extremely dizzy and drop his all-out attack on top of himself. Now, to do this, he would have to be multi-building level and attack potency. Now, when it comes to Light Jak, this is the part of the video where his AP gets juicy. Now, Light Jak is double surface level. What I mean by this is Light Eco, according to the data book, was created by the Dark Eco within the silo and the combined energies of the 4 sages. Now, the Dark Eco within the silo was stated multiple times in the game and in the data book that it was capable of destroying the world. Not planet busting. Gaul kind of clears it up a little bit more and says that he wants to reshape the world into his own image. So it's more than likely referring to life wiping, surface level AP. In that regard, the precursor robot was being protected by the Dark Eco shield, which was being powered up by the Dark Eco silo. And even though they're 2 separate places, the thing is, all the silos are interconnected underground. Even Jak 3, Viger explains this even better when he talks about the precursor subrails and the precursor catacombs and stuff like that. So when it comes to the Dark Eco shield, it has surface level durability for sure. So for them to overpower that, they would have to be surface level plus. Each of them being continental plus, if not multi-continental, which would make sense because Samos in part 2 trained with the Life Seed to become Sage level, and he had so much power that he was able to communicate with the entire planet itself. So proving that Samos by himself training to become a Sage is already continental plus, if not higher. So each of the other sages should scale to him, especially the Red Sage, who is unironically the strongest Sage. So all of them together performed a surface level plus feat. The Dark Eco within the Dark Eco silo is also surface level. So both of these surface level sources combined together, creating Light Eco. Jak grabbed it, turned in the Light Jak, double surface level, one-shotted the precursor robot, obliterated that thing. Or at least most of it. The only thing that survived was, what, its head. So that's Jak in part 1. Jak in part 2, I'll go straight into it with Dark Jak first. It's consistent because the data book right out of the gate states that Dark Jak is more powerful. This is the most powerful transformation. Essentially, when it speaks in generalized terms, it's referring to any other transformation he could have possibly ever had up to this point. This transformation is more powerful, its attack potency is much more effective, and it has a better range. And on top of that, this is Dark Jak who hadn't even mastered his true abilities. So a suppressed Dark Jak introduced in part 2 right off the bat already surpasses Light Jack. So Dark Jack should be low end planetary, above double surface level, low end planetary. Jack in part 2, his strength, he's able to one-shot turns that I've calculated to be around weighing and about 125 tons, and in real life it's about 165 tons, so about 200 tons worth of sheer steel. He's able to punch it so hard that it's completely obliterated. He can rip off artifacts off of massive tikis that are encased in cement, 4 stories high, also made up of particular points of this tiki was made up of steel and iron. Calculating this feat, it was around 20,000 tons. All of this without Red Eco, which would amplify his strength 20 times. So again, multi-building level strength. Speed, he has a lot of speed feats, such as dodging metalheads or Horoquans, whatever you want to call them. These Horoquans have relativistic light-based attacks. They shoot lasers at him at point-blank range, and they jump him in massive hordes. 2 of the most impressive relativistic light speed feats that I've seen Jack performed was against Sig. Sig had a laser rifle in his gun mod, and Jack pulls up behind Sig, literally not even 10 feet away from him. Jack says, "What's up?" In mid-sentence of him saying, "Hi, what's going on?" Sig immediately turns around and fires off a relativistic light-based attack at Jack. Jack was completely surprised, no clue that this was going to happen, didn't see this coming, immediately ducks out of the way. Same thing with Core, had no idea he had the ability to shoot out relativistic light-based attacks with Dark Eco. Shot a beam towards Baron and his troops and completely dodges it. Now, when it comes to his skill set, we're introduced to many different guns. I'll actually just name out all of them, even in part 3. He has the Red Eco Scattergun, which dishes out a concussive short-range burst. He has the Wave Concussor, which generates a massive, sonic boom, supersonic boom that travels through the ground. He has the RPG Plasmite Rifle. Now, this rifle is capable of sending out massive explosions that cover vast areas in a matter of seconds. Now, each transformation the Red Eco gun gets, the more powerful and the more faster it becomes. Same thing with the Yellow Eco gun. The first form is called the Blaster. It shoots off Yellow Eco Blast, which we've already calced. Jack in part 1, just with his bare hand, is as fast as a meteor. So this should be much faster since it's in the form of a weapon. It's more precise. It gets an upgrade turning into the Beam Reflector, and then it gets another upgrade turning into the Gyro Burst. The Beam Reflector is essentially the same thing as the Blaster, but the thing is, it is able to not only home in on targets, but it ricochets off of the walls, and the Gyro Blaster essentially sends out this disc and showers all over the immediate vicinity. The Blue Eco gun, known as the Vulcan Fury, should easily be shooting out rounds at lightning speeds. The Arc Wielder shoots out an electrical lightning bolt. He also has the Needle Laser, which unironically shoots out Blue Eco lasers, so it should be a relativistic light-based attack. He has Dark Eco weapons such as the Pacemaker. It shoots out a high concentrated electrical energy ball fueled with Dark Eco. The Mass Inverter, which manipulates gravity, which unleashes radiating waves of energy particles, which is essentially a light speed attack. And it essentially manipulates the surrounding area into losing gravity. And then he has, finally, the most powerful weapon in his arsenal, the Supernova. Not much is revealed about the Supernova in-game. When it fires at somebody, it essentially breaks down atoms and molecules. It takes the form of a miniature nuclear explosion, and if we scale these weapons to each other of how many times more powerful they are to each other, and understanding the fact that Jack in part 1 with just Yellow Eco blasting out of his hands should be about building level plus to possibly multi-building level, these weapons with all of these upgrades should low end be multi-building level to multi-city block level if we really want to scale how many times In the data book, they have numbers charting out these weapons and distinguishing how many times more powerful. So if I really wanted to push it, his most powerful weapons are light-based, arguably faster than light, and are city block level in terms of attack potency with his most powerful weapons. Now, Jack's durability in Part 2, again, he should scale past his durability in Part 1. Being able to tank 2 years worth of Dark Eco being pumped into his body. The computer said that his bio readings were normal and stabilized and unchanged, meaning that he has cellular and molecular defense. Dark Eco is known to completely eradicate anything it touches from existence, and if you have a special connection with Dark Eco, lucky enough you'll be morphed into something else, but then later on die because Dark Eco inevitably destroys everything. So he should be more powerful than his previous self in Part 1. So once again, easily Talon level plus to multi-mountain level. There's a bunch of other mountain level feats of durability that Jack has. Jack is able to tank hits from multiple ram heads going up towards the top of the Precursor Mountains trying to get artifacts for the plot. So these ram heads, according to the data books, have enough strength to carve through mountains casually, and the reason they do this is to transport Dark Eco from the Baron. Now, fighting all out, their strength should be a lot stronger. On top of that, Sig is more durable than what these ram heads can dish out with their strength, because the Metalhead Centipede literally jumped on top of Sig, and this Centipede scales way beyond the ram heads. Jack can go toe-to-toe with a ram head, but they couldn't go toe-to-toe with the Centipede unless Jack went all out, like into dark mode, and just completely shredded it up casually. But in base, him and Sig couldn't go up against it. Sig said, we might as well run away, we're just going to piss it off. In the data book, it states that Sig tanked the full force of this Centipede, which should scale past the Ramheads, who are casually carving through mountains. And not only he tanked the full force of it, they actually fought. Like, the Centipede was thrusting on him. And we see him again in Part 3, and he doesn't even have any notable injuries at all whatsoever. Like, he sustained minimal damage to almost no damage at all. He was perfectly fine when we saw him in Part 3. Jack scales above Sig, so again, Jack's durability in base should still be multi-mountain level. Now, Jack in Part 3, his strength should be city block level. Based on all the previous feats that we've seen being from building level to multi-building level, he had to fight the Wastelanders. These Wastelanders came at him in the dozens. Each of them in the data book stated to be relative to Jack's own strength. Jack was highly advised to use his weapons because going toe-to-toe with them wouldn't be a smart idea. They would cleave him in half. They have enough strength to cleave his base form in half. And actually, it came to a point where his base form was overwhelmed that he needed his dark form to overcome all of these dudes at the same time, who were relative to all of the previous feats and scaling that I've mentioned. Jack's speed in Part 3, faster than light in base form, hands down. Now, base form, he has two major feats I want to talk about. Base form Jack was able to, at the very end of the game, blitz past the Ottsels, which are considered the precursor gods. He was able to blitz past them without them realizing. Now, these precursors should logically have light speed reaction time. They've been fighting the Horoquans for years, and as we've gone over, Horoquans dish out light, relativistic light-based attacks, and they've been going at them for eons. Now we're introduced to the Darkmakers. Again, they fire off relativistic light-based attacks. Jack's able to literally blitz an entire spaceship and run through all of them. Jack's durability in Part 3 is pretty much summed up like this. He was able to carry around 4 Dark Eco Crystals and 4 Light Eco Crystals, and with all the combined energies of both 4 Dark Eco Crystals and Light Eco Crystals, it was able to generate enough power to destroy a multi-city sized Darkmaker ship. The reason why it's multi-city level in size is because a section of this spaceship, a small section of this spaceship, contains Darkmaker robots that when Errol had used to travel across the wasteland with, it crawls over mountains, and it was on its way to Spargus to destroy the entire city. And there was an entire section filled with dozens of these things, and that was just a small portion of the spaceship. Jack is the only one capable of touching the Dark Eco Crystals. Even Daxter, when he touched the Dark Eco in part 1, he was lucky that he didn't die. When Daxter tried to touch the crystal again, Jack had to stop him because he would have surely died the second time around. The thing is, the Light Eco crystals aren't dangerous. Anybody can touch them. The Dark Eco crystals are the ones that its AP is uncontrollable and whoever touches it will experience the full force of this. So the fact that he can walk around with 4 Dark Eco crystals that powered up the energy alongside the Light Eco crystals capable of multi-city busting easily means that Jack's durability and base should easily be city level. Now when it comes to Light Jack and Dark Jack, I'll go over Light Jack's speed. Light Jack is now as powerful as Dark Jack because the Dark Eco within Jack was killing him. So the precursors had to give him power to equalize that out. So now Light Jack is as powerful as Dark Jack. Now Light Jack, if we just scale off of base Jack, many times faster than Light, as well as Dark Jack. Dark Jack should also be many times faster than Light. By how many times, I can't give you a number. They're just many times faster than Light. Could be anywhere from like 5 to 10 times, who knows. So they should both be relative to each other in speed, as well as durability and AP. Now Dark Jack has the ability to become invincible. This is a bit weird to say because it's a no limits fallacy. Obviously he's not invincible. If I bring someone else from a different universe like Beerus from Dragon Ball Super and he pulls up on Jack to hit him with a Hakai, yet no, Jack's getting Hakai. Jack's gonna die. There's no way he's gonna tank that at all. I think when they say he's invincible, he's essentially invincible to any form of damage that isn't relative to his durability. And the same thing should be said about Light Jack since they do scale to one another. Dark Jack is also capable of growing into a massive behemoth. He has dark bombs, dark blasts. He can turn invisible. He has his Dark Strike, where he can unleash deadly projectiles. Light Jack actually was pretty cool. There was an original concept where he was actually supposed to look gold, but he didn't. But anyways, he has his light regeneration, where he can heal all damage that's dealt on him. He has his flash freeze, where he can slow down time. He has his light shield, which essentially protects him from any attack. And he has his light flight. He should be able to blitz you and combat you at light speeds. Now, Jack in the Lost Frontier was heavily nerfed. More proof that Light and Dark Jack are planetary. Skyheed robbed the planet of the majority of its eco, and because he did this, the entire surface of the planet was falling apart. Phoenix stated that literally in the beginning of the game, and towards the end of the game when they restored the planet's eco supply, the entire surface was going back to normal. So taking that much power from the planet will restrict Jack from transforming into Light or Dark Jack. Jack in his base was nerfed as well. He can push over stone pillars that are around 240 tons. He's still above lightning level for sure. He's able to dodge lightning machines, and with blue eco amplifications, he'd be multiple times faster than lightning. His durability is able to tank hits from massive robots that are made up of reinforced steel, which should be building level plus, if not multi-building level. His AP with his guns still should be the same, as I mentioned earlier. Jack's abilities to utilize eco is astounding. A lot of people get the misconception that Jack runs out of eco over time. That's not true anymore. Jack has a nigh unlimited supply of eco. The limit is that when he uses up any form of eco, which is red, yellow, blue, or green, the meter runs out and it slowly recharges. It takes about several seconds for any one of the ecos to recharge. Or should I say, some ecos do recharge faster than others, blue eco being the fastest one to recharge. So with these eco abilities, such as red eco, he can increase the damage of his strikes and kicks. He can punch enemies so hard that they'll explode. He has his red eco amplifier, which can expand into a massive destructive ball. And he can just essentially upgrade his red eco abilities to become much stronger. When it comes to yellow eco, he can release yellow eco fireballs at will. He has a rocket jump where he can basically fly around like Iron Man. For blue eco, he can dish out punches and kicks, which can temporarily paralyze his enemies for a couple seconds. It increases his perception. It increases the speed of his recovery. With blue eco, he can spam teleportation and use teleportation to swap with objects relative to his size in the immediate vicinity. Green Eco, he's able to create an extremely durable Green Eco shield, and with Green Eco, if he were to punch you or kick you, he can sap your life essence and add it to his own. Now, on top of that, he has his gun mod staff that Kira had made for him. It essentially shoots out all the basic weaponry that he originally had, like the scattergun, blaster, Vulcan Fury, and Pacemaker. Now, it doesn't have the upgraded versions installed in them, but that's essentially all of his weapons right there. Now, when it comes to Light Jack, I just want to say this part before the video ends. Light Jack more than likely can fight offensively. Kira was able to find a little bit of Light Eco and then implement that into her gun mod to fire off offensively. Now, if she's able to utilize Light Eco offensively, then Light Jack in The Lost Frontier, when the planet's restored, or even in Part 3, he should have been able to logically be able to use Light Eco offensively. It's just, once again, the whole Riders thing. They nerfed him for the sake of the game. Another thing is, to back up Dark Jack and Light Jack being planetary, Skyheed, once again, he drained so much eco from the planet that the entire surface of the world was crumbling apart, stated multiple times, and Jack had defeated him with just skills and tactics alone, and he had to retreat, and he was going to double dip and increase his power even more to become planetary, but he was just surface level during that time, so he was going to try to double dip to become planetary. If he had to retreat from Jack just using simple skills and tactics, imagine what would have happened if Dark Jack or Light Jack had pulled up. If he was capable of using either one of these transformations, Skyheed would have gotten annihilated. And I don't think anybody would really have that much of a disagreement that he would have been annihilated. So yeah, with that being said, Jack is much stronger than what most people think. I might have left a few things out in this video, but if you guys have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them in the comment section. If you guys really want to have a talk with me about this topic, hit me up on Discord. I'll have my Discord information in the link in the description or in the comment section somewhere. Or if you got Skype, we could talk about it on Skype. Let me know what other videos you guys would like to see me do. And with all that being said, I will catch you guys later. Peace out.